Area of a circle. Area is a measure of the number of squares that cover a flat surface. Area is two-dimensional. One dimension is length and the other dimension is width. Because area measures these two dimensions, units are always squared. For example, centimeters squared or inches squared. That squared symbol means that you are measuring both length and width. All shapes have an area, even a circle. Make sure you have this information written down. All right, so when we're talking about covering a particular surface with squares, the easiest thing for us to picture is a rectangle or something with edges, straight edges, and 90-degree angles, because we can actually see the number of squares that fit this surface. But circles are a little bit different because circles have curved edges. So we actually use a formula, just like there's a formula length times width to find the area of a rectangle. We can use a formula for circles as well. And the formula for area of a circle is A equals pi times r squared. And what we're going to do is really focus in on this r squared, which means, radius squared. And I'm going to show you a video, and I'm going to show you how we actually create radius squares. So I want you to concentrate on the fact that the formula for circle, the area of a circle, is about 3.14, because that is pi radius squares. So around 3 radius squares. So we're going to start with a circle that has a radius of 5 units. And we're actually going to square that. In other words, make a 5 by 5 square. So we are creating a radius square. So 5 by 5 means that we have an area of 25 units. So this radius square is 25 units, square units. All right, so that covers part of the circle. Now we need to still cover another part of the circle. Remember, we are covering the circle with radius squares. So if we take another radius square, that's another 25 units. Okay, that covers part of the circle. Now we need to, we haven't finished covering our circle yet, so we need to make another radius square. So we have now created 3 radius squares. All right, now watch what happens if we create another radius square. What do you notice? We've covered the entire circle and some extra. We have all this extra space left over. This space is extra. This space is extra. This space and that space is extra. So we have some excess area that we've covered that we didn't really want to cover. So 4 radius squares would be too much to cover this circle. So let's take away that 4th radius square, and you can see that what we could do is cut off this excess, these excess pieces here, and we could paste them over in the part of the circle that hasn't been covered yet. So if we cut off all of the excess, then we should have enough, approximately enough, if we cut it just right, approximately enough to cover the rest of the circle. So it takes 3 radius squares approximately to cover the circle. And that literally is where the formula comes from. Area equals pi r squared. About 3, because we know that pi is approximately 3, a little more than 3 radius squares. So let's say that we had a circle and its radius was 6 units. What you're going to do is take your formula, area equals pi r squared, and you're going to substitute in your 6 units. So I'm going to go step by step. For pi, I'm going to write 3.14 times my radius is 6 squared. So really what I'm doing is I'm creating a 6 by 6 square. So I have 3.14 times a square that is 36 units. And then we multiply and we get 113 and 400ths units squared. That's the area. So literally what that means is it would take 113 and 4/10 of a square to cover this particular circle. All right, let's try another one. Let's say I give you the radius of a circle is 2 5/10 centimeters, and I tell you that I want you to find the area. You're going to start with the formula, area equals pi r squared, and you're going to substitute in your value for pi, and then we're going to make radius squares that have the dimensions 2 5/10 centimeters squared, and I can put the squared symbol on the outside or the inside, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to do 3 1400ths, and then I'm going to square my 2 5/10, and I get 6 2500ths. Then I have to multiply that by pi. So literally I've made a square with an area of 6.25. The dimensions were 2.5 by 2.5, and my area is 6.25. So then when I multiply, I get 19 625 thousandths centimeters squared. So it would take 19 625 thousandths of a centimeter square to cover a circle with a radius of 2.5 centimeters. All right, just for fun, let's go ahead and try one more. Let's say that the radius of a circle is 4 inches, and I tell you to find the area, because you will need to be able to do this when you come in tomorrow on your own. So you're going to start with the formula, pi r squared, and you're going to say 3.14 times, well, our radius is 4 squared. So I'm going to do 3.14 times 4 squared, which means 4 times itself, which is 16. Then I have to multiply, and I get 50 2400ths inches squared. All right, pause, watch the video several times. Make sure that you are able to find the area of a square given a particular radius.